हेलो एवरीवन, आज का हमारा टॉपिक है बायोकल्चरल एवोल्यूशन ऑफ मैन। इन ह्यूमन एवोल्यूशन देयर इज इंटरैक्शन ऑफ बायोलॉजी एंड कल्चर एंड दिस इंटरैक्शन इज म्यूचुअल। बायोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट इज सपोर्टिंग कल्चरल डेवलपमेंट एंड कल्चरल डेवलपमेंट इज सपोर्टिंग बायोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट। अगर बेसिक बायोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट नहीं होता तो हमारे अंदर कल्चर का डेवलपमेंट नहीं होता, और अगर कल्चर नहीं डेवलप हुआ होता तो बायोलॉजिकल एवोल्यूशन आगे की डायरेक्शन में नहीं बढ़ता। इसलिए ह्यूमन एवोल्यूशन में बायोलॉजी एंड कल्चर के कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री बिहेवियर को समझना ज़रूरी है। 36 million years ago, primates, a category of mammals, emerged in Asia and Africa. Now, some of the characteristics of primates are they have prehensile hands and feet. Prehensile means grasping capacity. हाथ या पैर से किसी चीज़ को पकड़ने की क्षमता को grasping capacity या prehensibility कहते हैं। They have flattened nails instead of claws on the digits. उनके हाथ और पैर की जो उंगलियां हैं वहाँ क्लॉज के बजाय नेल्स देखने को मिलते हैं। They have usually opposable thumbs and great toes. उनके या तो हाथ या पैर का अंगूठा अपोजिबल होगा या फिर दोनों ही अपोजिबल होते हैं। They have stereoscopic vision, that is, they have the ability to perceive objects in 3 dimension. वो ऑब्जेक्ट की डेप्थ या गहराई को भी नाप सकते हैं। They have large sized brain as compared to other animals. They have prolonged gestational period and postnatal dependency. Gestational period is the time period the fetus spends in the womb of the mother. जो बेबी का डेवलपमेंट माँ के पेट में होता है, that time is known as gestational period. After birth, बेबी अपनी मदर के ऊपर बहुत दिन तक डिपेंडेंट रहता है। This is called as postnatal dependency. तो ये थे primates के कुछ characteristics. Subsequently, by about 24 million years ago, there emerged subgroup amongst primates called hominoids. This included apes, and much later, about 5.6 million years ago, we find the evidence of the first hominids. The hominids have evolved from hominoids. This process is called as hominization. It refers to the process of becoming human. The hominization process consists of evolutionary transformation of hominoids into hominids. It is the evolutionary development of human characteristics that differentiate hominids from the primate ancestors. Journey from hominoid to hominid is complex. Under hominoid, we include ape and human. In hominid, we include only human. So hominoid से hominid बनने की journey is very complex because humans and apes shared a common ancestor. 6 to 8 million years ago, we shared a common ancestor, Dryopithecus. आज की डेट में हमारा क्लोजेस्ट रिलेटिव है चिंपैंजी एंड गोरिल्लास। दे आर होमिनॉइड एंड वी आर होमिनिड। होमिनिड एंड होमिनॉइड के जो कॉमन एंसेस्टर थे, दे यूज्ड टू लिव ऑन अर्थ 6 to 8 million years ago. उनसे हम डाइवर्ज कर गए। होमिनॉइड्स remained hominoid and we developed into better evolved and equipped group called as hominid. Transformation from hominoid to hominid includes biological changes and cultural changes. So the changes in hominid line can be divided under 2 major heads: biological changes and cultural changes. Under biological changes, we will study about erect posture and bipedal locomotion, remodeling of face and teeth, enlargement of brain and development of speech. Under cultural factors, we will study about hand manipulation and tool use, change in food habits and usage of fire, development of language. All these changes in a combined form affected our evolution. अब हम होमिनॉइड्स और होमिनिड्स के बेसिक डिफरेंसेस को समझते हैं। होमिनॉइड्स को हम एप्स भी कहते हैं, होमिनिड्स को हम ग्रेट एप्स कहते हैं। होमिनॉइड्स इवॉल्व 24 मिलियन ईयर्स अगो, होमिनिड्स इवॉल्व 5.6 मिलियन ईयर्स अगो। होमिनॉइड्स हैव इवॉल्व फ्रॉम primates. Hominids have evolved from hominoids. Hominoids have small brain, hominids have large brain. Hominoids are quadrupeds. वो अपने हाइंड लिम्ब और फोर लिम्ब दोनों का यूज़ करते हैं चलने के लिए, और क्वाड्रिपीडल पोजीशन में सेंटर ऑफ ग्रेविटी फॉल्स अंडर 4 legs. होमिनिड्स हैव बाइपीडल लोकोमोशन. वो सिर्फ अपने पैरों का यूज़ करते हैं चलने के लिए. इट इज़ नेसेसरी दैट सेंटर ऑफ ग्रेविटी comes under 2 legs in bipedal position. Due to quadrupedal position, hominoids have semi-erect posture. Due to bipedal locomotion, hominids have erect or upright posture, एकदम सीधे. Hominoids have flexible forelimbs. Hominids have specialization of hands. उनके hands में कई तरह की specialization हुई है for various purposes. Hominoids have African origin. In the Miocene period in Africa, hominoids lived in forest. They had arboreal habitat. वो trees पर रहते थे. Since they were primates, वो अपने shoulders को rotate कर सकते थे और अपने forelimbs यानी अपने हाथों को सर के ऊपर ले जा सकते थे. Primates के opposable thumb होता है. Thumb can be moved around to touch the other fingers. ये जो थंब अपोजिबिलिटी का फीचर है, इट गिव्स द एबिलिटी टू ग्रास्प और ग्रिप थिंग्स. ड्यू टू दिस फीचर, apes can swing from one tree branch to another. This type of locomotion is called brachiation and it is observed only in primates. So their mode of locomotion is brachiation. They were knuckle walker. वो ज़मीन पर फिंगर्स की नकल पर चलते थे and they had a semi-erect posture. 10 to 5 million years ago, in the late Miocene period, climate change होने लगा. Cooling trend start हुआ and it caused aridity और dryness. Forest started shrinking, trees कम होने लगे, savanna grassland expand होने लगा. There was formation of Great Rift Valley in East Africa 8 million years ago. East of valley became savanna and woodland. So now the habitat became terrestrial. वो ज़मीन पर रहने लगे. Now they were exposed to flesh-eating predators. Since grassland were vast open areas, there were not enough trees in which the apes could hide and protect themselves. The only way to escape from the predators was to try and outrun them. In quadrupedal locomotion with knuckle walking, they could not outrun them. So gradually over generations, they began to adapt themselves to these new conditions. They became bipedal. वो दो पैरों पर चलने लगे. They became hominid. Now we will discuss the advantages of bipedal locomotion. Bipedalism allows for the head to be elevated. In a savanna environment, bipedalism and standing upright or erect gives a better, wider view of surrounding to see predators, prey and food sources. Erect position में head elevated position में आ जाता है. वो घास के ऊपर से नज़र रख सकता था. He could stand and look over the grass and see whether any predators are coming. In quadrupedal position, we look more smaller to predators. हम predators को छोटे दिखते हैं. In biped position, we look more menacing, taller, bigger and a bit more scary to attack. Predators को standing position में हम बड़े दिखने लगते हैं और वो हम पे अटैक करने से डरने लगते हैं. Bipedalism also helps in thermoregulation. Bipedalism allows the body to cool more efficiently in a hot savanna environment, as standing upright exposes less of the body surface area to the sun and raises the body away from the hot ground. It allows heat to escape. It allows exposure to cooling breezes. This picture shows how much more of the body surface is hit by the direct sun rays when you are quadruped or knuckle walker versus when you are upright. In bipedal locomotion, only top of head is exposed to sun, so we have better thermoregulation. In quadrupedal locomotion, ventral body surface is much nearer to hot ground, whereas in biped position, body gets away from the hot ground. In erect position, our body is exposed to wind flow, helping us to keep cool. Bipedalism is an energy efficient form of walking. Walking long distance to acquire food would require less energy when bipedal. It means man saves more energy while walking on 2 legs than apes who walks on 4 legs. So it is more efficient for movement over long distance. Bipedalism frees arm from role in walking, allowing items to be carried. जब हम 2 पैरों पर चलते हैं, हमारे हाथ फ्री हो जाते हैं. It enables food to be carried for longer distances and with greater efficiency. It allows an infant to be carried. हम बच्चे को कैरी कर सकते हैं. It enables our hand to make tools and handle weapons of stones or sticks to be carried to scare or kill predators. Bipedalism allowed early humans to reach food in otherwise inaccessible places. जैसे पेड़ पर खड़े होकर ऊंची टहनियों से फल तोड़ सकता था, पानी के ज़्यादा अंदर तक जा सकता था और अपना भोजन ला सकता था, जैसे फिशेज, वाटर प्लांट्स, वाटर एनिमल्स. Our bipedal locomotion required center of gravity fall under 2 legs for a balanced walk. This is a primary requirement for balance of movement through bipedalism. It has a great evolutionary significance because due to this, many biological and structural changes occurred in course of evolution. So now we will see what were these structural changes. Changes in pelvis. The pelvic girdle of apes is U-shaped or cylindrical. वो narrow and elongated होते हैं. The pelvic girdle of human is flattened and shortened. The ilium bone of pelvic girdle became broader, shorter and curved, almost fan-shaped. This curving provides a solid platform for balancing the weight of the body and for transmitting it from vertebral column to the legs. Pelvic girdle became basin-shaped or bowl-shaped to support the internal viscera of the body. Bowl-shaped pelvis से upper part of the body को एक support मिला, stable base मिला, which helped in vertical weight transfer. Ischium bone flattened, which allows humans to sit comfortably. Acetabulum is a C-shaped cavity present in the pelvic girdle. इस cavity के साथ femur bone यानी thigh bone का head portion articulate करता है to form ball and socket joint of pelvic girdle. Acetabulum became comparatively larger and deeper. अगर ये large और deep नहीं होता, there may be chances of slipping out of femur from acetabulum, causing dislocation and difficulty in walking. So, in order to support and transmit the body weight, acetabulum became larger and deeper. Now we will see changes in femur. Apes में lower limb short होता है, upper limb long होता है. But in case of man, due to assumption of erect posture, lower limb or lower extremity has increased in length and it has become longer than the upper extremity. As a result, femur has become the longest bone of human body to support the pelvis and to absorb the force of compression. The lower enlarged part of femur is called condyle. This is median condyle and this is lateral condyle. In humans, these condyles have enlarged. ये condyles knee joint बनाते हैं and large human knee joint is particularly well adapted for weight bearing and locomotion. In apes, median and lateral condyle are equal in size. So, the position of the femur is straight. As a result, legs of apes are positioned almost straight and parallel down from hip, so that when an ape walks upright for a short distance, its body sways from side to side. Due to straight femur, apes have a bent knee posture. In human, median condyle is larger than lateral condyle. The angle of femur starting from condyle to the upper extremity is outward from knee, or you can say inward from pelvis. एंगल ऑफ फीमर पेल्विस से नी की तरफ इनवर्ड होता है और नी से पेल्विस की तरफ आउटवर्ड होता है. दिस आउटवर्ड एंगल ऑफ फीमर हेल्प्स इन सपोर्टिंग बॉडी वेट, बिकॉज अगर वो परफेक्टली वर्टिकल होता देन when the body weight is pressed from above, there may be chances of falling out of femur, but when it is angled inward from top, it brings the knees together, known as knock knee posture. As a result, legs are directly under the body, bringing feet together, bringing center of gravity next to each foot, required for balancing and walking bipedally. On the back side or posterior side of femur bone, there is a prominent ridge along the whole length of shaft. This prominent ridge is called linea aspera. Linea aspera helps in attachment of extensor muscles, which helps in making the body erect. So, presence of linea aspera is one of the most important characteristic of human femur, which helps in making human body erect and walk bipedally. The head of the femur bone is comparatively large as compared to other non-human primates, as it has to fit in the acetabulum of pelvis. As the head is large, it can easily support the body weight. Changes in foot. Among the apes and monkeys, the foot and hands are grasping organ. Therefore, in them, thumb and big toe are opposable. Thumb means हाथ का अंगूठा and big toe means पैर का अंगूठा. ये है thumb का under surface और ये है fingers की under surface. When we can oppose under surface of thumb with under surface of other fingers, it is called opposability. Due to assumption of erect posture in human, big toe became unopposable because it is no more an organ for grasping. It is meant for locomotion now. आप imagine करिए कि ये ape का foot है. In apes, distance between big toe and second toe is large, which helps to grip the branches. So big toe and other toes are in different plane. In humans, the divergence of big toe reduced. Big toe became parallel with other toes or in line with other toes. Imagine walking on ground with great toe perpendicular to other toes. There will be chances of frequently stepping onto it. The size of big toe increased and size of other toes reduced, or we can say the size of phalanges reduced, and all the metatarsals are bound together by common filament to make the foot less flexible and more stable, as it is no more a grasping organ. Short, straight, less flexible toes provide a rigid lever for pushing off from the ground with each other. Calcaneum bone or heel bone became longer and elongates backward a little bit to help in supporting body weight. Talus bone enlarged and became wedge-shaped. It helps in transmitting and supporting the body weight. The whole body weight is ultimately to be supported by foot. So, the under surface or plantar surface of foot, जिसको हम तलवा कहते हैं, is not perfectly plain. In the middle, it is slightly bent. It forms curvature. That curvature is called arch of foot. The arch of foot is oriented in such manner that it is longitudinal as well as horizontal or transverse arch. This arch is present in man and it is not very well defined in other primates. Flat feet or no arch is inefficient for bipedalism. This arch acts as shock absorber and work as spring. When heavy weight is given from top of the body, the arch
absorbs the shock, so weight is not felt by foot. It ensures that weight of the body is evenly distributed over the sole. Arch allows to establish a grip above the ground, and it also protects the bone from fracturing. Changes in thorax or rib cage or chest. Apes have funnel-shaped or cone-shaped rib cage, whereas humans have broad chest, that is flat, barrel-shaped, placing the center of gravity back towards the spine, helping us to stand more upright. Changes in vertebral column or spine. In chimpanzees, vertebral column is C-shaped or bow-shaped, dhanushakar, due to semi-erect posture, whereas in human vertebral column they develop 4 curves: cervical curve, thoracic curve, lumbar curve and sacral curve. These curves make a spine S-shaped. These curves helps in transmission of body weight through the pelvic girdle. This S-shaped curve shortens the overall length of the torso. It acts like a spring, giving rigidity and balance when standing. It absorbs force or jarring during activity. These curvatures keep the head, trunk and weight centered above the pelvis, or we can say centered above the center of gravity. The sacrum part of vertebral column became broader and shorter. This part of vertebral column articulate with pelvic bone. Together with pelvic bone, it forms basin-shaped structure supporting the internal visceral organ, and this also helps in transmission of weight through pelvis and legs. In apes, due to quadrupedal locomotion, arms were longer and robust as they have to support body weight. In bipedal locomotion, hands became free, so they became shorter and less robust. Apes have curved fingers, which helps in swinging from one branch to another. When habitat changed from arboreal to terrestrial, the curving of fingers or phalanges reduced and they became flat or straight. Thumb opposability increased and distance between thumb and finger reduced. These changes led to better power grip and better precision grip. प्रेसिशन ग्रिप में स्मॉल ऑब्जेक्ट्स और स्मॉल टारगेट पर फिंगर टिप से फोर्स अप्लाई की जाती है. इन पावर ग्रिप whole hand is used for higher stability and power around a larger object. We were able to use precision grip and power grip for making and using better and sophisticated tools. Changes in position of foramen magnum. Foramen magnum is a hole in the skull through which the spinal cord is connected with brain. Foramen magnum is a Latin word. Foramen means hole and magnum means big. So foramen magnum means big hole. In apes, due to semi-erect posture, head is in hanging position. As a result, foramen magnum is at posterior and dorsal side of skull at 8 o'clock position. Whereas in man, due to erect position, foramen magnum has shifted towards anterior side. Now it is perfectly at 6 o'clock position, perfectly facing downward at the base of the skull, at the center of the skull. The position of the occipital condyle also shifted with shifting of foramen magnum. This occipital condyle is the bone of the skull which is meant for articulation with atlas vertebra. Atlas vertebra is the first vertebra or first neck vertebra of the vertebral column. Due to shifting of foramen magnum and occipital condyle, हमारा head vertebral column से एकदम straight जुड़ता है. And atlas vertebra act as a pivot on which we can move our head from left to right, and we can also rotate our head. So, due to change in position of foramen magnum, we can hold our head upright and our head is not hanging as in gorillas and chimpanzees. Now, under biological changes, we will study about a second topic, remodeling of face and teeth, including changes in skull. In human skull, the jaws, both upper jaw called maxilla and lower jaw called mandible, are almost in same line with the face. That means it does not project out, it is not protruding. This is called orthognatous jaw. So the jaw is smaller in size as well as it recedes. In apes, upper and lower jaw projects out and they are larger in size. This is called prognathism, that is pronounced or protruding muzzle or jaws. When the jaws are protruding, center of gravity changes from middle to the frontal side. As a result, head necessarily tends to droop down slightly. As man stands erect with small and non-protruding jaws, center of gravity is well maintained in the line of the body. Knuckle ridge. It is a rough ridge at the backside of the skull. It is meant for fastening of muscles which arises from the neck, preventing the head or skull from drooping down so that it is well balanced at the atlas vertebra. In apes, knuckle ridge is very prominent as compared to man. Apes have protruding jaws. It will cause the head to droop down. In order to make the head not droop down, जो neck muscles होती हैं, they fasten with knuckle ridge and pull it up so that head is maintained at its position. Temporal muscles. These are the muscles that pull up the jaw. The temporal area is where these muscles attach onto the skull. In apes, these are both much larger to support the larger jaws of apes. Zygomatic arc. These are a bony arc just behind the cheeks. They provide a gap for the temporal muscles to pass through. They are much larger in apes to accommodate much larger temporal muscles. Brow ridge and sagittal crest. Brow ridge is a bony ridge located above the eye sockets. Sagittal crest is a bony ridge running lengthwise along the midline of the top of the skull. They are meant for fastening of the muscles which arise from the jaw. Apes have prominent supraorbital ridge or eyebrow ridge and prominent sagittal crest to prevent skull from drooping down or hanging down freely as they have heavy and massive jaws. But in man, the jaws are reduced in size, so there is no necessity of having a large eyebrow ridge, so it is only faintly developed in man. Also, sagittal crest is absent in man. When the jaw has reduced in size, correspondingly, the teeth embedded inside the jaw has also reduced in size. This helps in lessening the weight of the mandible. When the weight of the mandible is less, there is less chance of drooping down of head. Curvature of jaws is called dental arc. In man, it has become parabolic or V-shaped. It expands at the end because the size of cranium or brain box has increased, and size of cranium has increased because of the increase of brain size of man. End of the jaw is called condyle. As a result of increase in cranium size, condyle of the jaw has expanded, forming V-shaped dental arc. Facial region has reduced as compared to the cranium part. Apes are characterized by U-shaped dental arcade due to small cranium. They have thick enamel teeth, large jaws and jaw muscles, large incisors, larger, long and protruding canines. Since apes have long protruding canine teeth, they have to be accommodated when the apes are closing their mouth. So, to accommodate the long canine teeth in the dental arcade, there is a gap present called as diastema. Hominization process consisted of reduction in sizes of teeth, jaw and jaw muscles and absence of diastema. Now, I will tell you the reason for these changes. Apes were not able to make and use tools. उन्हें जो भी करना है, तोड़ना है, they use their teeth, they use their incisors for biting, canines for tearing. So teeth are larger in size in apes. As humans were able to use tools instead of teeth for tearing and cutting, size of teeth reduced. Another reason for change in dentition is change in dietary habits. The diet of ape is different from man. They eat cellulose-rich food like seeds, tubers, leaves, fruits, so they require more chewing, biting, mastication. Therefore, they have thick enamel teeth and larger grinder surface on their molars to process leafy and fibrous plant material. In the course of evolution, with the use of fire, man changed his diet from raw food to cooked food and also from vegetarian to omnivorous diet. Now they eat cooked plant carbohydrates and animal protein. When the food is cooked, it becomes soft, so less chewing, biting and mastication is required. Therefore, the size of teeth reduced in man and teeth enamel became thin. All the teeth are now of the same size. Canines are not protruding and large, so there is no need of diastema. So diastema are absent in man. In humans, a chin has developed to protect a weak point in a less robust skull. Apes have receding forehead due to small brain and small cranium. Man has high forehead due to increase in brain size and cranium. In apes, nose is flat, whereas in humans, nose is elevated. Now, under biological changes, we will study a third topic, enlargement of brain and development of speech. Evolution of brain took place after bipedalism and changes in dentition were complete. Humans have the largest brain in proportion to their body size than any other mammal. Size of brain in proportion to the body size is called encephalization. ह्यूमन ब्रेन का साइज बढ़ता जा रहा था और उसकी वर्किंग कैपेसिटी बढ़ती जा रही थी और ब्रेन के अलग अलग फंक्शंस इवॉल्व हो रहे थे. Different regions of the brain have become specialized with distinctive structures and functions. For example, the cerebellum is involved with movement and coordination, whereas the cerebral cortex is involved in memory, language and consciousness. Humans have the largest frontal lobes among all animals. Frontal lobes are associated with higher level functions such as self-control, planning, logic and abstract thought. It led to the development of logical thinking. New regions like Broca's area and Wernicke's area developed. Broca's area is involved in the production of coherent speech. Wernicke's area is involved in speech processing and understanding language, that is, comprehending what the speaker has said. In other words, we can say Broca's area is involved in the generation of spoken language and Wernicke's area is involved in the understanding of spoken language. हमने देखा कि एवोल्यूशन के प्रोसेस में ब्रेन का साइज इंक्रीज हो गया. Now, if the fetus will have enlarged brain or skull, birth giving process will become complicated both for mother and child because location of birth canal lies between two legs. So many adaptations took place to overcome this problem. First adaptation है maximum development of brain takes place after the birth of the fetus outside the womb. Second है the cerebral cortex region of the brain or grey matter is folded many times to increase its surface area, and cortex area plays a key role in memory, attention, motor instructions, perceptual awareness, thought, language and consciousness. Highly folded cortex allows a large surface area of the brain to fit inside relatively small skull or cranium. Third adaptation है the facial region of the skull reduced to provide space for increased brain size. Fourth change है a pregnant woman's pelvis changes through pregnancy. Its shape, position and joint of ligament behavior adjust to support the baby during pregnancy, making childbirth easier for both mother and baby. Development of speech. Humans are the only animals that can communicate by spoken language. After bipedal walking, development of speech was probably the most significant advance in human evolution because it enabled complex ideas to be communicated quickly. The initial production of the sound occurs in the larynx, voice box. However, the wall of pharynx contains muscles that permit the sound to be modified, producing vowel sounds such as e, a, u. In apes, the pharynx is much shorter than in humans and cannot make the full range of vowel sound. The hominin brain also developed two areas called as Broca's area, dedicated to the generation of spoken language, and Wernicke's area, dedicated to the understanding of spoken language. Now we come to cultural factors. Culture is a way of life. Cultural evolution started much later than the biological evolution, but within the short span of time, it developed so enormously and diversely that it started influencing biological evolution and brought changes in the gene pool of human being. Under cultural evolution, first we will study about hand manipulation and tool making and tool use. Tool making is an art. It is a complex process. Man needed to make tools ideal for particular function and utility. For that purpose, man has to put his brain for work and limbs for work. Man used power grip and precision grip of his hand to articulate, to chip, to chop, to grind the tools, to make it according to the need. The tool making process exerts pressure on brain to work, to develop better fine motor skills. As a result, brain is expanding. In the process of making and using tools, erect posture became very much important so that the hands or forelimbs can become free for tool making, tool carrying, tool utilization. So, bipedalism favored tool use and tool making, and tool use and tool making favored bipedalism. Now, we will see how hunting led to biological and cultural changes. Initially, hunting was done individually. When the man is hunting individually, he can hunt only small animals or prey like rodents just to satisfy his hunger. The situation is manageable when there is plenty of prey and good season. But in extreme weather conditions, when the animals are not abundant, man need to cover longer distances to locate the prey, and catching them is even more difficult. So, in order to cover larger area and for big game hunting means hunting big animals, he needed coordination with other fellow human beings in those times. That is the time they started associating and communicating. अकेले बड़ा शिकार नहीं हो पाएगा. Let us do it in the group. He started making strategies, plans. He started using tools like spear, bow and arrow. Every member of the hunting group is assigned the task to cover his area and communicate whenever the prey is spotted. Once hunted, they had to share the game. That is how initial association began, which finally led to the formation of society. Also, for hunting and tool making, we need to have good motor coordination, that is eye-hand coordination. This led to development of bigger frontal lobe of brain, as frontal lobe is responsible for motor association. Now we will study about change in food habits and use of fire. Initially, our ancestors were plant eaters. They consumed grains, seeds, tubers. With time, they also became flesh eater. Flesh provides more calories as compared to plants. Initially, they were consuming raw food, which requires more chewing, more biting, tearing, mastication. But with invention of fire, they started cooking the food. All the disease-causing germs were killed in cooking process, and the food became soft, tender and juicy. Prolonged chewing, biting was not required, so teeth and jaws were reduced in size. With new tools, man could also reach up to bone marrow without using the teeth. Also, as a result of eating cooked food, changes in digestive system occurred. Earlier, when humans were eating raw food and plant parts including leaves, there was the role of appendix in digesting raw plants. But now, humans are not consuming raw leaves and seeds directly. So, there is no need of appendix. Therefore, it has become a vestigial organ. Brain uses more energy for working than any other body part. Our ancestors overcame this problem when they learned how to cook. Cooked food offer more calories than raw food and is easier to chew and digest. Use of fire helped man in many other ways also. Man was able to keep himself warm, so he was able to survive in cold environment also. They were able to keep their predators away. They were able to see during night also. अब वो रात में भी शिकार कर सकते थे. People also started to sit around fire. This promoted the development of social organization and allowed an opportunity for the beginning of communication through spoken language. As the man has to remember area, road map, other animal behavior, previous experiences, has to make sophisticated tools, which is a complex process. Man has to memorize things, recall things. Therefore, large brain was required. Therefore, brain was expanding. As the brain size was increasing, skull size was also increasing. As a result, face portion decreased to increase the area for brain and skull expansion. If the entire brain development will happen within the womb of mother, then the infant head will be very big in size and the mother cannot deliver the baby, and in the birth giving process, mother or infant might die. Therefore, infant is delivered with small brain and further development of brain takes place outside mother's womb. As much of the brain development of infant takes place outside the womb, there is prolonged dependency of infant on mother. Now, the mother cannot go out and hunt and find food for herself. She has to take care of the baby, feed the baby and protect the baby from other animals. So, the mother has to stay back and take care of the baby. Therefore, the male partner who is responsible for the baby started supporting mother and child. This support has to be given at least till 2 years so that the child is able to walk and mother is of sound health again. By this time, again the mother will be pregnant and this cycle continues. This led to cohabitation of male and female partner for longer time. This led to marriage institution. Marriage institution has given rise to division of labor. Mother will take care of children and gathering activities like finding fruits, tubers, seeds, nuts, wood. Father has to find protein rich food for mother and children, so he will go for hunting. That is how division of labor came into existence. Because of institution of marriage, family came into being and societies were formed. This is how cultural elements contribute to biological ones and vice versa. Now we will study about development of language. Use of language is unique to man. Language किसी और animal species में नहीं है. Vocalization है, but they don't have proper language. The association of lips, tongue, palate and pharynx and brain led to the development of ability to speak. It led to the development of language. In order to communicate, we need to have Broca's area, vernix area and angular gyrus. Broca's area and vernix area के बारे में मैं आपको पहले ही बता चुकी हूँ. Angular gyrus is that part of the brain which is associated with complex language functions, that is reading, writing and interpretation of what is written. Development of these areas are result of development of culture. These areas have developed as there was need for communication during hunting, memorizing, associating with members of group, creation of association group, families, all are associated with culture and all of them have direct impact on development of brain, which in turn have direct impact on development of language. Biological evolution is earlier to cultural evolution. However, the latter is faster compared to former. These two aspects of single process, that is evolution of man, are interrelated with one another. Hence, human evolution is a biocultural evolution. अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा है तो प्लीज़ मुझे कमेंट करके बताइए एंड इसको लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. Thank you.